All right, you ready?
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our very zesty class tonight. And we're so glad that you are here. And we will be having a Veterans Art Appreciation class again. We know how much you enjoyed those. And if you're watching the recording, the link is going to be in the description. And it's great. We love it. And we will see you July 2nd. Hannah, I
Yes.
don't want to be sour. I want to be vibrant and yellow and sunny. So why don't you please tell us what are we making tonight?
Well, Alexa, thank you for that very, very lovely introduction. You just put the sugar in. Better way to spin that. But you bring the sugar to this lemon class, okay? We're making
Thank
lemonade
you. I am
today.
getting very emotional. I'm getting very verklempt. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Welcome to class, everyone. We're gonna get zesty today. We're gonna paint some lemons. I hope you guys have fun with this. It's gonna be very much a little bit more of an abstract painting today, just because we're adding in some colors that you typically wouldn't see in lemons, purple and pink. What? What is that? We're just gonna have some fun with our colors today and give our lemons a little bit of sweetness. Okay, it's summer, okay? I am drinking a lot of lemon juice. Lemonade, I really am. So I hope you guys enjoy this acrylic painting class. So get your brushes ready. All right, I'm going to go over all of our things, our supplies that we're going to need today. So let's get to it. Um, some sort of canvas, okay? I'm not really picky on the canvas size. All right, this one in particular is 8 by 10. I will be working on a 9 by 12 paper just because that's what I've got. And if that's what you've got, that's okay too. I want you guys to use the supplies that you have, okay? So this one right here, I have a thick piece of paper. It's my usual mixed media piece of paper. It's a 9 by 12, like I said, mixed media. So it's a little bit more sturdy, a little bit thicker. So there's that. What else? We're gonna need some brushes too, and nothing too fancy, honestly. I think I used just a small amount of brushes, not very many. So we're gonna want one size that I don't bring out too often, actually. So this one right here is gonna be a 1/2 inch, but if you happen to have a 3/4 inch, that's okay too. Just some kind of flat brush. Um, Either one, it depends on how much space you have in between your lemons here. So if things get kind of tight and I need a smaller brush, I can always switch over to the smaller brush. So some sort of flat brush. And then we're also going to want some kind of pointy brush. So this one is a size, I should use a size 8. I don't know where my 8 went, but anywhere around that size, a medium size brush. Okay, preferably size 8, but again, if you have something smaller, that's okay. And then we do want something tiny. Okay, some kind of tiny brush. Ta-da! And that's going to be for later once we do the little lines here. So smaller types of brush strokes for that. So just 3 kinds of brushes or 4. What else? We're going to need colors, of course, to paint. So I have some lemony yellow colors. So regular yellow will do just fine. I also have some white, so I can lighten it up. However, if you happen to have a lightened up yellow already, then that's perfect. You don't need to do any extra lightening. But yellow and white, and then we also want maybe just a few colors that will make our yellow pop a bit. So I brought in some purple. Those are the colors that you see on top right here. So some purple, perhaps a splash of pink. Believe it or not, I even put in a little bit of green in there too. And I know it's kind of hard to see with this particular lighting, but the green is in there. So because of that, I also have green. But I also have blue, okay? So blue as well. That way we can make the green a little bit darker if we need to. And we can add a little bit of pop as well to the leaves, make those match with our lemons as well. Optional if you want to include a little bit of teal just for a little extra pop, even more pop, you can do that too. So teal. Now, for your background, I actually created a maroon color. So that's with red and black. So if you happen to have maroon already mixed, then great, use that. But if you want to create your own maroon, you can using the red, the black, and I believe I put a little bit of purple in there. I think I did, pretty sure I did. But I will test this out before you guys even do that. If you don't like the maroon background, hey, that's okay. You don't have to like it. In fact, you can use whatever color you want for the background. In fact, I even created a whole nother painting using blue. So just to kind of show you that you can't really choose any wrong color, not really. So I chose blue. I love the way blue looks with the lemons with like the yellow color. So whatever color you want, do that. Do we have questions before I move on? Questions, anything at all? Of course, we are going to need some napkins and some water too. Optional if you want to, I guess, maybe protect your painting surface. Clearly, I do not care about my painting surface, so I'm not going to do anything like that. But if you want to, go ahead and put something down to protect it. Questions? Jane, hello, Jane.
Hi,
Hi, good to see you.
thank you.
Hannah, I've got a burning question.
Burning. Okay, go ahead.
Is a glass of lemonade required for this class?
Nah, nah. If you like lime, hey, get some lime juice.
Okay,
Whatever you want.
okay.
Get some orange juice, whatever. Get some tea, get some water. Oh, you know what's really good though? I've been mixing my lemonade with some tonic water. Get a little bit of fizzies in there.
Ooh,
It's really good.
fancy.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, so I think we can get started. So we are going to first start out with our lemons. So we're going to draw those lemons in there using just the yellow straight out of the tube. We don't have to mix it with anything unless it's completely different. Lighten it up, but it's not completely different. Then don't worry about it. So let's see, what did I use? I think I used my medium size brush. So your size 8 or similar size, go ahead and bring that out. I should mention, forgot to mention that we'll need a palette of some kind. This is my very messy painting palette, but if you only have like maybe paper plates, that's fine too. Foam plates, or you could use anything that's non-porous. Wax paper. Wax paper works really well too. Okay, so I'm going to pour out some of my yellow, and I'll probably water it down just a little bit, just to kind of make it more smooth. Got my water right here. So let's go ahead and take my round brush. I'll just put a little bit of water right in there. There we go. Okay, let me move this. Ooh, I should mention anybody who is here tonight, go ahead and if you want to reference this picture while it's out of the frame, go ahead and take a screenshot of it or perhaps just take a picture with your camera if you're using your computer. That way you have it with you. So I'll go ahead and give you a second just in case you want to do that. I think I'm actually also going to pour out some white paint also. Because we are going to need the white paint in a moment. So I am pouring the white paint out on my palette. Okay, now don't worry about counting how many lemons you want. Okay, let me set this aside. Let me know if you want me to bring it out, okay? Now, as you can see with this one, I just kept it simple and just did 4 big lemons, but however many you want is totally fine. And let's just start out by just drawing a, what would that be called? Like an oval type shape. with a little bit of a little nubby at the end there. We'll refine it a bit more. We are going to fill it in later, but let's just get the basic gist of it. So an oval shape with a little nubby at the end. There's a little lemon right there. Little nubbies. Maybe another one over here. Nubby there. Maybe I'll squeeze one more off to the side there. Maybe that one's just off the page. It's just over there. Personally, usually I like to have odd numbers. I just feel like they're a little more interesting that way. And I still had plenty of space for my leaves for later. So plenty of space to draw those big, beautiful, luscious leaves. So plenty of space for the background as well. Y'all have questions? You guys all right? All right. Anyone have any good like lemon recipes? Can you tell I'm hungry? I haven't eaten yet. Oh no, I know one time I did make lemon, what's it called? Lemon piccata?
Oh
It's
yeah,
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, lemon piccata is really good. I only did that one time though. So we have been very, very lucky that we have a neighbor. Oh, oh, Alexa, hungry for lemons. I know we're talking about food. We have a neighbor who lives downstairs from us, and he goes to the food bank every week. And so when I told him that the kids are home, we have them, and we have kids here, and he was like, "Oh, okay, don't even worry about it." And he gave us tons and tons of limes, among other things, among other foods too. But like right now, we also have a ton of limes too. So I have to figure out what to do with those. The kids are saying they want to make some lime smoothies, so we might do that tomorrow. But what else can we do with them? All right. So anytime you are finished, we can actually switch it up. Okay, let's move to one of our flat brushes. So whether you're comfortable using the small flat brush or the large one, totally fine. We do the large one just to show you how it's done. So I am going to mix a lighter shade of my yellow. So I'll go ahead and grab a little bit of water just off the surface of my water. Grab some of that water. And then let's go ahead and pick up some of this white and set it aside somewhere else. Or you can just pour out a little bit more. And then let's pick up a little bit of this yellow and see how much it takes to create, I don't know, just like a medium yellow. Not too light, it's not too dark. Kind of medium yellow. There we go. That's not bad. Once you have this medium yellow, go ahead and paint it in. Now I am going to try and keep some of this outline here, but we are going to accentuate the outline in a minute. So let's go ahead and just color that in. You can start with any of your little lemons. Now what I'm going to do, before it gets too dry, okay, before it gets too dry, I'm going to double dip, okay? So I have this light yellow in my brush. Let's double dip in our dark yellow. We don't need too much, just a little bit there. And then let's go on the side. And then let's go over our brush strokes in a rounded motion again and again. I'm pressing down a little bit. And this allows me to just very softly blend the two together. And I will repeat that, okay? Because I know it's kind of hard to see because I'm looking at my screen up here right now and I can't really see too much of it. So I'm going to show you guys again. Maybe if I change the setting here. That'll help. Let's see how that works. So I'll show you again, okay? So I'm going to have this one here, the light yellow. And let's double dip just a little bit in the dark yellow or regular yellow, I would say. And then start on the side here using the side of the brush, and I can just go over my brush strokes again and again to blend it in. Then you can repeat for every one of your lemons. So you can grab some of your light yellow, fill it in. That's what we did first. Light yellow, fill it in. And then before you move on to the next one, we'll double dip into our darker yellow. So I'm filling it in. Go, nice and filled. Now I can double dip, so I'll go back to my light yellow, double dip, dark yellow, and then go all the way around. I think I need to grab a little bit more. So I'm grabbing a little bit more. Go all the way around, go over my brush strokes again and again, and I can press down just a little bit harder. That way it blends. It's a subtle blend, but it's there. And if you want to, maybe we'll do that later. I did have to add a little bit more because it's a little too subtle. But we are going to accentuate the roundness of the lemons a little bit later. Do y'all have questions? Okay. You can continue on with your other lemons whenever you're ready. And I'll just keep on talking and repeating myself. So now I go ahead and take some more of my light yellow. And let's go ahead and fill in this part. Fill it in with my light yellow. Go, fill it in with my light yellow. Now I have a smaller lemon here, so I could switch over to my smaller brush. Could do that. While I do that, it's a smaller lemon. Switch up. Got the light yellow. Double dip in my yellow, my regular yellow. And then go over the outline again and again to blend it in. Maybe I'll do a little bit more. There we go. You'll notice that if you go over those brush strokes again and again, that's where the blending happens. Over those brush strokes, you can blend them. Now, a question I like to ask, has anyone done anything fun or creative in the last month or so? Anything fun, anything interesting, anything new, creative? Is there a new recipe you tried? I went to Sam's earlier today, and they had coconuts there, and it's advertised for the coconut water, but of course you could use the coconut meat too. And my stepdaughter hadn't seen that before because I guess I'd never bought coconuts before in the past, and so I bought it, and we smashed one of them open. It was a lot of fun. Mashed it open. She normally likes coconut, but I guess this one didn't taste quite like coconut yet. I don't know if it wasn't ripe enough or something. It was fun smashing it, and I was eating it.
A real coconut.
Yep, real coconut.
Hey,
It's so
because I've
fun.
had it before and it doesn't taste any. I think you need to add like a ton of sugar in order for it to taste.
Maybe that's what she was expecting. We kept looking for coconut yogurt specifically,
Yeah.
so that's probably what she was looking for.
I use coconut milk
Oh
actually
yeah, I
in my
love coconut milk.
that put it in my coffee.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Oh, you use that in your coffee. Okay.
Yeah.
I've done that before, but for me it sinks to the bottom. But now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I've ever used the canned coconut, like the full fat.
Oh, yeah. No, I use I think it's SO brand.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, okay. I think I've used that before. Double
Hey Hannah, you
dipping.
can also buy like a creamer called Nut Pods, and it's a coconut creamer, or
Ooh.
it's more like a half and half, but it's
Oh,
all natural. It's really good because I
Okay.
use coconut milk a lot too, but um or almond milk, but that Nut Pods is really good.
it's
Nut
what's
pot.
it called and who makes it?
The
Okay.
brand is called Nut Pods, and it's a mom that created it.
Not
I
pot.
guess for her family or whatever. Anyway, so
Yeah.
but it's really good. You can find it like at Kroger and Walmart and stuff like that, but they have different flavors. It's really good.
Okay. I'm
I'm
gonna
writing that down.
do.
And it's
Yeah,
kind of
that sounds
it
great.
has more of a consistency of a half and half rather than like when I use coconut milk in my coffee, it's not as thick and it kind of so it has more of a half and half consistency. It's really good.
Okay,
And it's
cool.
unsweetened too. So I use honey to sweeten my or
Cool.
coconut sugar to sweeten my coffee, but it's really
Good.
good.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting new ideas. Ooh, I'm gonna go ahead and rinse my brush just so y'all know. And just so you have an idea of what the next step is going to be, we're going to paint our background. So make sure your flat brushes are rinsed because we will switch to either one of your flat brushes, whichever one you're comfortable using. I'm gonna try and get as much of the yellow out of there as I can. Just switch it up. There we go. Not bad. My my nails are pretty terrible right now. But I was looking for a nail polish remover and I still can't find it. I think this was a problem last time too. I don't know. This was a problem. It's been a problem for a while. I can't find it. Michaela swears she doesn't know where it is. Okay, so to use the maroon, I'll go ahead and show you guys how to make it. Otherwise, the background is completely your choice, whatever color you want to do. So I did put a little bit of purple on top of it, which is why you're seeing that extra bit of purple. However, I did start out with the maroon, okay? So I'll show you how to make that maroon. So red with a little bit of black, and I'm pretty sure I put purple in there. So let me pour that red out. And that's again, that's if you want the maroon color. So black, we're not going to need a whole lot. So I'll just pour a little on the side here. And then I'll go ahead and pour out my purple anyway. There we go. So let's go ahead and just grab a little bit of black paint at a time because it tends to be a very strong color no matter what brand you use. So already that was just a tiny amount and already I'm seeing a big change. So tiny bit more. And yes, I am going to add some of that purple. So we're going to do the red and a little bit of black and a little bit of purple. So a little bit of purple in there, and that makes it a softer color. It looks darker on camera than it actually is. So I'm adding even more, like a little bit more black to it.
Okay, I have bouncing paintbrushes.
Oh no. Are they falling?
They're on the floor.
Yeah.
Paint on them. Okay.
Oh man. I know what that feels like. Okay. And once you have your area, you can just start painting. So whenever I go near the edges, I can always try to move my brush around to the thinner side if that's easier. It always helps to have extra paint on my brush because it makes for nicer, crispier edges when I have more paint on my brush. Paint it all around. I'll probably need to make some more paint, but that's okay. I never make enough. That's one of my, I don't know, one thing that I never think to do is just to make enough. I've always been like that. Around. And again, don't forget you can always move your brush to the thin side if it's easier. But don't forget to reload your brush often. Because again, it helps you to get those thinner, smoother edges. We do want to see your brush strokes too. So this one that I made earlier can definitely see my brush strokes. It just kind of adds to that very painterly feel. You like those brush strokes. If there's anything I can help you with, just let me know. You can also use this time to reshape your lemons too if you feel like it needs it. Definitely need to make some more, so I'm going to do that. So I got my red, got a little bit of black at a time, maybe a little bit more, and then I'll add purple. There we go. Much better. We have a lot. Oops. Accidentally made a very thin looking lemon. Got on the inside. Okay. Let's reshape it. Okay. I am going to go back and maybe add a little bit of extra paint in some areas just to make it a little bit thicker. Because yes, we do want to see some brush strokes, but I think it would be nice to push back some of them. So kind of like these over here. Maybe I'll just add a little bit more on the side. There we go. There we go. I do want that to dry before we put our leaves on top of it. But take your time with it anyway, okay?
Yeah, you really need a steady hand when you're going around the lemons.
Yeah, the lemons. Yeah, take your time with it and refill often. Refill with your wet paint. That way it gets a smoother line. If you happen to get like a thinner lemon, that's okay. I don't know
Did
if I
y'all get a
meant
lot of rain last week, Hannah?
we got a ton.
We did too.
Yes. Yeah.
We got
How,
a
oh my
ton this
God.
afternoon.
Oh, this afternoon.
Oh,
Yeah, it was really bad last week actually. We did have a lot of casualties actually. It historic flooding here in San
really?
Antonio.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of rain here in Houston, but I heard y'all got really bad in the
It
hill
did.
country.
It did. Yeah. It got bad in two particular areas, but one of these areas it wasn't even that low of a crossing. It really wasn't, but they apparently were slammed with water. I remember hearing accounts of people describing their loved ones, not to get too graphic, but just they described a slam of water, a wall of water hitting them. And we did end up getting 13 casualties throughout the city.
Whoa.
13. Yeah,
Wow.
it was historic
That's
flooding. So all of
sad.
all of that happened on Thursday.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
very
horrible.
yeah, very sad. And what's scary is that my boyfriend's mother used to live in that very same area too. Um, I mean, she has no reason to be out like at that time when it did flood that badly, which was around 4:30 in the morning, I think.
Mm.
But still, just the fact that she was used to live there not that long ago is pretty terrifying. I know exactly where it is. It's not even in the hill country. It's right in the city. So yeah, we got a lot of rain too. What about you, Alexa? Did you guys get a ton of rain too? You did, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. It was really, really bad.
Yeah, yeah. Poor Jasper. The kitty cat Jasper.
He did not like any of it.
No.
Are you in Texas too, Alexa?
Yes, I'm in Palestine.
I love that area. I really do. It's beautiful. My uncle lives in a little city outside of Palestine, and I have some friends in Bullard.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I used to do the Tyler Run for autism. I did a half
Yep, yep.
marathon and mhm.
Wow. Wow, really cool. Anyone done anything creative? Something fun? Trying to think what I've been doing. What have I been doing? Oh, I did create the new veterans class. So I'll show you guys that later. I did manage to paint these guys.
What is modeling paint or
Oh
what
yeah.
for the veterans? I was
Yeah.
looking at that. I'm like, I don't have any of that, but I probably do, but I don't know what it is.
Well,
And I was too lazy to Google it.
here, modeling paste. So this is a medium, okay? And this is one of those things where veterans and family, you sign up for it. We'll send that to you, so you don't have to buy it. So with this stuff, it's a thick kind of paste, and here we go. I have an example right here. It's a very thick paste, and you can do all kinds of textures with it. See that?
Oh,
Very
cool. And then it
textural.
dries too, or
Yeah, yeah. Like this is dried. This is totally dried.
oh, cool.
Yeah. So those are actually the very first flowers I've ever made with modeling paste. But there's a lot more you can do. Here's another one. Not the veterans class. I just did this one right here, just fun.
Yeah.
This one.
Well, thank you for the answer.
Yeah, of course. So it's not painted yet, but I, you can see the texture though. So yeah, it'll be a fun class. Very different from what we normally do. Like my computer in. There we go. Oh, that reminds me, just the other day, Michaela and I went, she insisted that we paint outside in the park. So we took watercolors out there and we went in the morning and we sat outside and painted the landscape, the scenery until she got scared by a bug and we had to leave. I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you ever wanted to paint outside and you don't have any paint, you can just use the grass. You just use the grass or the whatever kind of green plants out there.
Mush it
Right?
together.
Yeah, exactly. Mush it together. Put some water on top of it. That's what we did. We made our own green. I think I left uh my notebook, my sketchbook out there, so I don't have the example. Oh well, it's okay. But if you don't have any paints, you can smush it with grass. Here's my brush. For the veterans class, maybe I'll send a little I don't know, maybe more examples of what you can do with modeling paste before class. Not something that people think about using too often. It's very fun to use. Now, I do want to maybe show you how to put that little bit of purple on top of it. So, because for you guys, if you're using a canvas, it might still be a little bit wet, it might be a little bit dry in some places. And in my opinion, I feel like that's the perfect time to put a second color on top of it. So here's the original. See how some areas just look different?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that little bit of purple on top of it. And some of it mixed because it was still wet. Some of it didn't mix because it dried up, and that's okay. We like those brush strokes and we like that variation. We want that variation at least. So I'm gonna go ahead and take one of my flat brushes. Doesn't matter which one. Use the big one. And I accidentally rinsed my brush. I probably shouldn't have rinsed my brush because I want a little bit of that maroon in there. Now, if you're using another color, then you can actually, I don't know, mix up a darker version of the color or a lighter version of the color, just something that's just slightly off, and then do the same thing. So again, with the maroon, I do want a little bit of that on my brush, and then double dip in my purple. So double dip, tap it in there a little bit, and then pick a spot, any spot, and just start going over it. It's just scratchy brush strokes. You don't have to get too close to the lemons if you don't want to, but just a little bit and then keep it going. You like that little bit of mixture, those scratchy brush strokes, those are nice. I'll try to get a little bit closer to one of my lemons with this purple. Maybe this one, just to make it a little bit different. Maybe a bit over here. Do need to pour some more out. Okay, double dip again. I probably poured a little bit too much out, but that's okay. Scratchy sound. There we go. Now I've got that purple spread and scratched in there. Feeling pretty good about it. Now I do want this background to dry before we put the leaves in there. So we'll move back over to our lemons now. Rinse my brush. And I'm going to move back over to my round brush now. This guy. Down. You guys doing okay? How do you feel about moving on to the lemons now? Do you want a few more minutes?
Good.
I'll give you maybe another minute or so. And I want us to be able to recognize three distinct, I guess you could call them layers, perhaps. So the lightest shade of our lemon, medium shade, and then the darkest shade. So three different layers, I guess, or levels. I'll call them levels. So the lightest part, we're about to put that in there right now, actually. So we're going to be using either white or what did I use? I'm pretty sure I used white actually. So I have my clean round brush right here. So let's go ahead and tap some white in here. Pure white. I just want to be able to identify the topmost areas of my lemons. So what I'll do here is just kind of swipe, 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 and tap. Just a few little swipes and taps on the very tops of my lemons. Now we will put a few other random shiny spots in other places later, but for now, let's just kind of mark where the top portions are. So tap, 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 maybe one or two swipes. But I also want you guys to just kind of get used to the tapping and swiping motion because we'll do that with those colors in a little bit too. It's a combination of taps and swipes. And these are going to be at the very tops of our lemons. Tap, 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 a little swipe here, swipe there. And again, I do that because I want to be able to visually identify the top lightest area, the medium area, and the darkest area, which is closer to the edge there. Now we're about to accentuate the darkest area. So if you don't see it very well, you're like, what's going on, Hannah? I don't see what you're talking about. We're gonna put it back in there. And then over here, got my lemon here, tap, tap, tap. Taps and swipes. But at least the white paint helps, hopefully helps a little bit better. You can rinse your brush. I love that Alexa's icon is still the birdie. That birdie from like 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and pour out my yellow again because I want to accentuate those darker areas. This is also where we can fix up some of our edges just a little bit as well. Now, because we're using yellow, it's a very light color, so it may not completely cover up like some of these edges, but that's okay because we're about later on, we will put in some more of those scruffy, not so crisp lines. And so it won't really feel like it's standing out so much. But I have my yellow right here. And my darkest areas are going to be around the edges there. And certainly around the little nubs. See the little ends of our lemons here? You guys see that part? We're going to accentuate the edges. And we're going to do that by putting in some very loose swipes. So these swipes, they're not precise at all. They do follow the edge of the lemon, yes, but I'm going to try to put them in pretty quickly, actually. Not that you have to do it quickly, but I feel like it gives it a bit more energy if you're able to do that. See that? I can start off getting pretty close to the center there. Swipe, swipe, swipe. I'm sorry, not the center. Pretty close to the edge there before actually going over some of the edge parts. Just kind of smooth it out a little bit. And like I said, it's not going to completely cover it, but it'll kind of muddle it up a little bit. But we want those brushy brush marks, that brushy feel to it. All the way around. Definitely want to darken up the little nubby here if it's not already darkened up already. Going all the way around the edges there. Just a pure yellow. You'll notice that in some areas it's nice to press down a little bit more with my brush. That way they become a little bit thicker. See that? Went over some of that edge right there. Those scratchy brush strokes. You still want some of those scratchy brush strokes. It does help to tap a lot of paint in your brush. See how it's loaded like that? That helps a lot. Now I'm picking my brush up and swiping. Keep on swiping. Again, we are accentuating the darkest part of the lemon. Just pure yellow. Brushy brush strokes. That's what we're looking for. I know I use very technical terms in these classes. Sorry about that. Yeah, I meant to show you guys what I was working on. So I've been trying to grow plants, okay? I have like a pineapple plant that I bought and some, I don't know, some other things. I don't even know what they're called. Angel wings. I think one of them's called angel wings. But I wanted to make some little, I forget what they're called, but like you stick them in your plants and they're just fun little things that, like a gnome, like you can just stick them in there. There's like a metal rod that sticks into the dirt, and or, like some people put mushrooms, like little mushroom clay figurines, and they stick them in the dirt with a metal rod. Well, I made octopus octopus tentacles, and so I need to figure out how to attach a metal rod to it so I can stick that in my plants.
Yeah, stick that in your garden.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I made like 4 of them.
That'd be fun.
They turned out so cute.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't know how to put the metal on them. I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll go to Home Depot and look for those little metal rods or something. Unless you guys can think of anything.
Metal. How about a coat hanger?
See, thank you. Thank you. I do. Sometimes it's the simplest things that just go right over my head. Thank you. That's what I needed. Coat hanger, of course. Okay. That's my answer right there. What you have. I used to have a fake plant over there. I was gonna like show you what it could look like in my fake plant. I guess I moved it. Okay. You guys doing okay with the squishy brush? I might actually go ahead and go back to my maroon and separate these two. It's just such a small area that it's just kind of bothering me. There, so much better. Need to separate it. There we go. There, that's better. Nice and thoroughly rinse. Now, I was gonna have you guys put a little bit of green in there first as our first set of squishy brush strokes, but actually, I feel like if you guys, if your background is dry enough, it might actually be better to work on the leaves first. So we can just shape those leaves and paint those in, and that way you can get a little bit of like a light practice getting in more of those squishy brush strokes with the greens, with the three different kinds of greens. So that might be a little bit better. So what I am gonna do now is mix up like an in-between green. I'm gonna mix up like a lightish medium green. I definitely want to have some white paint mixed in there because that white paint, no matter what you used for your background, that white paint is going to help carry your brush strokes. So I've got some blue there. Completely forgot that I actually have a green here, so I might actually start with this one. I don't know how I forgot there's a green.
With this color green, could I add black to it and make it darker?
Ooh. Yeah, you can. Yeah. That one is, it's got just enough opacity that it'll carry it, and yeah, you can add black to it.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I've got my green. I'm gonna add a good chunk of white to that. Now, personally, I want a green that's a little bit more on the lighter side, like more golden side. So you don't have to do this, but I am going to add a bit of yellow to mine, and that's going to make it more golden.
Mhm.
This changes it up a little bit because the green that I had in the tube was a little more on the blue side. So that addition of yellow, it lightens it up, it changes it up. But of course, that white is probably the most important though. I do want it to be pretty thick, so I want a good amount of this green. Oh, Laura's here. Yay. I see. Hello. Glad you could join us. Oh, cool. Okay, so you're not painting tonight. That's okay. Glad you could make it anyway. Okay, so I have my lightened up green. Now be sure to have some extra green on the side, um, perhaps even some blue on the side because we are going to be jumping back and forth to these different colors, okay? So I'm going to use my pointy brush and I'm going to start to build out one of my leaves. So maybe I want mine to kind of, I'm looking at the larger spaces here and I'm going to figure out how to fill it. So I can squish my brush down and just start shaping it as I move along. Start shaping it. I can point the pointy part of this brush, and that's how I can get the very tip of the leaf. Keep in mind that these leaves are by all means not your perfectly shaped clip art cartoony leaves, okay? These are natural looking leaves. They're they're not symmetrical at all. That is what we want. You can fill them out to be as thick or thin as you want them to be. Maybe I'll have another one here. But I like to grab a lot of paint on my brush. That really helps me to fill it in. Maybe I'll put another one here. Wish it around. Maybe I'll add one or two more. This one over here. Maybe one over here just to make it a bit more even. You can always add a leaf on top of those areas that you want to cover up. Those areas of your lemon that you're just like, I don't know if I like that part. Cover it up with a leaf. Yeah, I think that's good for now. I'll give you guys a minute or two. However, I don't want it to dry too quickly just because this next part, we want it to be somewhat wet. Some of it is going to be dry, some of it's going to be wet. We want that. But mostly a little bit on the wet side, so I'll just wait another minute or two. Hi, Coco. Now I want to show you the original. So this one right here. Now we can start off by double dipping in the green that's straight out of the tube. But then we're also going to start painting other areas. And it may not look like it makes sense when we're actually painting it, but that painterly feel is what we're going for. But the only thing that remains, what's the word? I guess the same over all of the leaves is that you have the darkest part right in the middle there. So that's with, I actually went over it with some more blue too. So you can triple dip if you want, like the green plus the light green plus blue plus green, or no, it didn't have to be in that order. So I have my green, got my dark green here. Let's just, why not add some blue there? And these lines are not supposed to be nice and perfect at all. Right in the center. See that? Some of them are a bit more wiggly than others. I forgot to put forgot to put silent right now. So all my texts are popping up and I can see that my family's talking about me. I don't know what they're saying though. Okay. So I know it's kind of fast, but again, I want it to get it while it's kind of wet, okay? Still not going to rinse my brush or anything. I still have multiple colors on my brush, not mixed at all, and that's okay. So I'm going to go back into my green here, my green that's straight out of the tube. And let's go ahead and just start painting the edges, but then also the middle as well. You see how my brush strokes are not exactly even? Again, it's that painterliness we're going for, back and forth. I'm just kind of mushing my brush strokes together. And because some of it is still wet, you can kind of see that it's mixing together. I can double dip so I can go into my light green again, just to make sure that I have that light green in here. That light green being in your brush helps it to blend a little bit better. And then double dip into my regular green. I'm going to do the same where I start on the perimeter of the leaf and then scratch, scratch, scratch it in. Kind of going on top of the middle section as well. Same thing with this side here. Start on the outside. Scratch it in. Paint your leaf. But then also on the side of the middle section as well. Get that in, scratch it in, whatever you want to call it. You know what I forgot to mention? Some stems, actually. Stems reaching to some of the lemons. So you see that right there? Forgot to mention those guys there. So just whenever you get the chance, you can put that in using your light green, Okay. These going to the ends. So for me, I need to make a little bit more light green. So I'm gonna pour some out here. Pour some white out. Grab a little bit of that. Green. A little yellow. There we go. So now just kind of pick a side of the lemon like that. Maybe I can do, no, maybe this one goes across here. Maybe this one goes across the leaf. With these stems here, it's the same idea with double dipping. So I'll still want this light green on my brush, but I can double dip into my regular green and then just kind of add some of that on top. Brushy brush strokes. Same thing with this one. Brushy brush stroke. Brushy brush stroke. Oops, I forgot some of my leaves over here. And there's this guy right here. I think I need more regular green. Now in a moment, we'll go over it with a little bit more yellow. So we want to maybe add some of that yellow to our green. That way we can lighten it up. I think that's what we want. We want to lighten it up. Still not going to rinse my brush yet. You can kind of see the light portions a little bit better with these light portions. How you guys doing with the greens? You okay? Now I'm gonna take some of my light green, making a little bit more of it. But my light green here, I want to add some yellow to that light green. I say some, and I ended up grabbing a ton of it. That's okay. Make it a bit more golden. That way we can add that pop of golden color to our leaves. Now I'm going to be a little bit more reserved with the highlights. That's what I'll call these golden brush strokes. I'll call them highlights because I want them to just shine. I want this to represent some kind of shine. So maybe I'll put a few brush strokes here, a few brush strokes there. Same kind of scratchy brush strokes that we've been doing, but maybe a few less, maybe have them be a little bit shorter. Maybe like right here, maybe some on the side here, maybe a bit over here. Go. Lots of scratchy brush strokes. I tend to go overboard with stuff like this, so I'm going to stop myself. Is there anyone who has a completely different background color? Anyone doing something wild like hot pink? Okay. Now that golden light color that we just used, this one right here. So we're actually going to lighten it up a little bit more, and let's actually put that inside our lemons. See this part right here? We just have a touch of this in the lemons. Here, it's a little bit less actually in the original, but it is there. Let's see if I can point it out. Just a few scratchy brush strokes here and there. But since it's already on our brush, let's go ahead and add that. Now, it's mostly going to be on the medium area, but, you know, depending on how light or dark yours is, maybe it'll go on the dark section or maybe it'll go on the light section. Now, I do want to lighten it up just a tiny bit more, so I can add a teensy bit more of white just to lighten it up a bit more. So it's on the lighter side. Still that golden color though. So let's just scrape a little bit of that. Personally, I feel like that's a bit too dark still. So for me, I'm actually going to lighten mine even more. So I'm going to grab more white to that. I feel like I've lost my golden color, so I'm going to add a bit of yellow. So if you want to do that too, feel free. So I'm adding more yellow, more white than I thought that I needed. So that's looking a bit better. There we go. Probably don't need as much as I put in there, but you want to just do some smaller brush strokes like that, you can certainly do that. You can do smaller ones. You feel free to put in as many of these brush strokes as you want, or as few of these brush strokes as you want. Yeah. Now say you're kind of like me and you feel like, oh, that's a bit too much right there. Let's tone it down a little bit. You can certainly tone it down. It's more about bringing in the color behind it a little bit more. So you can rinse your brush if you want to tone it down and bring in some more of the yellows. you can rinse your brush and grab a bit of that same light yellow. So you may need to make a little bit more. So that same light yellow. So that means I had some white and I had some yellow. There you go. The light yellow, and let's just go over some of that. Same scratchy brush strokes. Push it back. Much better. Push it back using light yellow. You can still see the green underneath it, but it's not nearly as what's the word? Visible. Now, if you think it's weird putting green in the lemon, we're about to put pink and purple now. Okay, it's really gonna get weird. You can start with either one of those colors, pink or purple, because no matter what, no matter which one you choose, you're going to want to add some white to that. So we'll start with the light version, then we'll move to a slightly darker version. So light version of pink, slightly darker version of pink, and then a light version of purple, and then a slightly darker version of purple. I don't want to put the full color onto there because it's really, really dark. Like that purple is screaming at me, okay? So if I put it on the yellow, it's really going to scream at me. So no matter what, there's always going to be some white paint mixed into it, but you can still see a difference between the two purples and the two pinks. Same brush. So I'm going to use the round brush. Let's see, I need to pour a little bit more white. Okay, let's make a light pink. If you don't want these colors in your paintbrush, in your painting, that's okay. You don't have to put these in here. So I'm starting with my lightest pink. So very, very light pink. That's what I've just made, a very, very light pink. And I'm going to start squishing these, jumping around my lightest area. Because this is a very light pink, I can stay around the very lightest areas. It's best to just do a brush stroke and go. Brush and go. It takes a lot, okay? So don't be hard on yourself. Brush and go. Brush and go. Again, this is a very light pink. This is our lightest pink. So there's tons of white mixed into it. Brush and go. Brush and go. Say it over and over again in your head. Brush and go. You can absolutely overlap the green. I encourage it. I encourage you to overlap the green. It's very easy to go wild with these crazy colors. I've done it before. So I'll go ahead and move on to just darkening up my very light pink. Just by adding a teensy bit more of the pink to my white mixture. All I'm doing is just adding a bit more of the pink to my white mixture. So now I have my next color, my next version of pink. See that? Same thing, swipe and go. But this time I'm gonna move a little bit more towards the edge just because that's my slightly darker area. That's where these newer brush strokes are gonna go, a little bit more towards the edge. Because again, that's the darker area. Swipe and go, swipe and go. Keep on seeing that mantra, swipe and go. How are you guys doing with it? I can't wait to see you. Anyone doing anything other than pink? Like orange? Orange? Or gray? I just threw that out there. Blue? So just like how we had the very light pink, let's make a very light purple. Very light. You don't have to rinse your brush, but you can. You see a little bit of purple goes a long way. There we go. There's my very light purple. And I'm even going to add more white to that. There we go. Much better. It's very light. I can add this around the same area that I have my very light pink. Just a few squishes per lemon. All it takes, just a few squishes. I believe one of the last things that I'll do is I'll add the darker version of purple now. So again, just like with the pink, I'll just grab a bit of this purple just to darken it up a bit. Don't need too much. And again, same thing with the darker version of pink. I'll add it towards the perimeter there. Again, I tend to go overboard with these colors. Trying not to get a few. And I did mention earlier that if you want, you can add just some optional teal to your picture. So I just added a little bit of teal just to some of the edges of my leaves. Not too much. So again, optional. I didn't want to make it part of the full list of supplies just because, just in case somebody didn't have teal. So again, it's just optional. You can Add a little bit here and there. A little bit here and there to your leaves. Same scratchy brushstroke method. There we go. Go ahead and finish up those brushy brush strokes. And then we can open the floor and you can show off your paintings.
Hannah, would you talk a little bit more about the Veterans Art class while people are finishing up their
Yes.
project?
Yes, in fact, I'm going to bring it out so I can show you guys. So here is, before I show you though, okay, I mentioned earlier that modeling paste is all about texture, okay? So again, here is just one brand, but there's so many brands out there, okay? It's an acrylic medium, okay? Sometimes it goes by modeling paste, sometimes it's molding paste, sometimes it's heavy body acrylic, medium, and sometimes depending on the brand, it could act a little bit different, but it's mostly the same thing. It's going to give you texture, okay? That's the main point, is the texture. So this is kind of a big painting, so I'm gonna move my paints out of the way. Ta-da! See that texture there? You see that? That is what we're going to focus on. So of course you can absolutely make as many clouds as you want. I'll teach you how to use the palette knives, so you'll get palette knives with your package. So the palette knives, I'll teach you how to use the different ones for the different techniques. I use one palette knife for this one, different palette knife for this one, and a different one for this one. So all about the texture. Not going to need very many colors for this one, but you make your own painting. So if you want different color clouds, you're absolutely welcome to make different color clouds. So here it is, right here. Laura, yes, I cannot wait to show you guys how to use this because it's just very relaxing. And Vera and Mary Ann can vouch for me. We actually used molding paste in our last MS class that we did last week. And it was just so fun, it's just so relaxing just to kind of move this texture around. So if you've never used it, I think you'll have fun with it. And in fact, if we have time, I may even be able to show you one or two other techniques. It's all about repetition and texture, okay? So if you can understand that concept, you can make any kind of technique, any kind of texture. It's all
So is it
about
like
that
modeling
repetition.
clay that you let dry or what?
No, it's not clay. It's not if you mean like the air dry clays, it's nothing like that. It's more it's very much a paste.
How long does it take to dry?
It'll take about a day. It'll take a bit. See that?
It reminds
Very
me of stuff that you use to like patch your walls.
Oh, sparkling. Yeah.
Yes, spackling. Yes. And in fact, if you need large quantities of this, you can use spackling. You can use I wouldn't do plaster, but there's a mixture that you can create that involves plaster. And you can make your own version of this at home for very cheaply. What is it called? There's not only spackling, but
Plaster
drywall.
too.
Yeah, plaster Paris, but there's something else that you can use on drywall that's not just plaster. Forget the name of it, but very similar. There's different recipes online if you want to make your own for like the larger DIY projects. But otherwise, this size, 500 milliliters, will do just fine for several paintings. Yeah,
Unless you want to do a really big painting, maybe.
yeah. Honestly, you could. You really could do a really big painting in class. Can't guarantee you'll finish it, but at least you'll have the techniques to
An
finish
ongoing
it.
project.
Exactly. I love watching those texture paintings that people create on like Instagram or YouTube. They're relaxing, and so that's what I wanted to bring. I wanted to bring something that's different, something that involves something a little bit more 3D. So you can see it was thicker whenever I first put it there, but once it dried, it did flatten out a little bit.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's really fun. I think you'll enjoy
Now,
it.
is it going to be complicated for the veterans?
No,
I'm a little
not at all.
slow on the uptake.
No, no, not at all. And in fact, like it was a big success whenever I did it with my MS class that I have on Mondays. We did something that was what, two types of textures, I think, two or three types of textures, and they went a lot quicker than I expected. So I think it'll be okay. I'm trying to look for like
I feel it's
another.
very forgiving.
Yeah, it is forgiving. That's a good way to put it. Oh yeah, so yeah, Laura says that she has worked with spackle on drywall, and actually one of our students, Marcy, she came to that same class that we did, and all she had was spackle, and that's what she used, and it was a similar technique, similar texture. So
Do
yeah, you
we
can.
have anyone ready to share? If not, we can keep talking. I
Yeah,
just want to
yeah.
check.
Okay, I'll do mine here.
Yay,
Please,
GP.
please don't be too judgy.
No.
So this is kind of goofy.
Yes.
I
Oh
did it,
my God.
I did it like a bunch of grapes, but it's supposed to be lemons that then look like lemons.
It
But
looks
hey,
like kiwis or
Oh,
papayas.
kiwi,
oh, I
maybe.
can see that.
And then,
Yeah.
and then one of the kiwis is an alien, and then there's a spaceship in the upper left coming to get him. Because,
You
Yeah.
know, I think this is the aliens like project.
oh,
Trying to figure
maybe.
out what to
I'm
do.
gonna listen to that Two Girls, One Ghost.
It's a really good podcast. It's
Yeah,
funny. But yeah, they have all kinds of scary paranormal stuff out there.
oh, cool.
But I love your alien guy down here.
Why, thank you.
I love him and your little alien
Yes, I
spaceship
love
up
it. Great
there.
job.
The motion. I do have to say though, my eye keeps going back to your leaf at the very top there. There's something about that leaf. It just looks so textured in a really nice way. Yeah,
Well, it's
the one at
still
the very
wet.
top.
I don't know whether that's it or,
Oh, maybe that's it. Yeah, I like it though.
but yeah, kiwis might be a better thing. Thanks. Thanks, Maria.
Nice. Looks good, JP.
Thank you for allowing me to join.
Yeah,
Sorry,
of
it's been
course.
Snoopy's back legs aren't working right. I got medical stuff. You know, it's all fun
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah, lots of fun. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you could join us today. Anyone else wanna share? Oh, Jane, I see you, Jane. Ooh, what a background. That's so pretty.
Let's see.
I love that.
So
That
I
is so
actually
pretty.
matched yours pretty well, the background
Yeah,
color.
seriously.
But
That
I did
is
the leaves
gorgeous.
backwards. I did the leaves dark and then added light to them.
Oh, okay. That's one way to do it though. I feel like it brings out more of a glowing quality to it.
Hmm.
Like
Yes, I
doing
think
it that
it's
way. So
excellent.
yeah, so you added black paint to that lighter green that you showed me.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
like that. Yeah, that was a really good idea.
So,
Very cool. Very shining lemons too.
thank you.
Very
Very
lively
pretty.
lemon.
Love it. Thank you, Jane.
You're welcome.
Love it. How you feeling, Marianne? Oh, there it is. Man,
That is
that
pretty.
I know
Nice.
that
Oh,
is
thank you.
gorgeous.
Well, my
I,
hands weren't really steady, so I kept making my lemons bigger and bigger.
hey,
But
that's okay.
They're
It
so
worked out
juicy.
nicely. You're
yes, thank you.
I
This is,
love how dainty your leaves are though. Like they're
oh,
just so cute. They're so cute.
my lemons got bigger, so maybe I should make my leaves a little bigger too.
No, they look great. Juicy lemons and the texture is fabulous too on the lemons.
Thank you. This was fun. Well,
Nice.
I always enjoy it.
Good.
Okay,
Cool. Thank you, Marianne.
thank you.
Love it. How are you feeling, Vera?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I am very behind, which I'm okay with because, um,
Yep.
but I can show you what I got so far. Hold on.
Sure.
Um, and my hands are still dealing with the unsteadiness of my hands, so
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, that's okay.
I'm taking my time. Let me try to flip this real quick.
Yeah. Oh,
Here we are.
cool, Laura.
Ah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Laura, I saw what you said. I would love to see it if you finish it.
Of course. All right. So this is it so far.
There it is.
Mhm.
See, that background is
Those are
just so
juicy.
lovely. I know. I see the shine on them. It really
That
brings
was
out
fun. That was
the
fun doing, I think. It's all fun, but I especially like those little details,
Good. Okay, good.
when I can do it. Yeah. Thank
Laura
you
said
all.
she likes your colors. Yay. Love it. You guys did an excellent job, of course.
Yeah. As
Um, as always, I am so proud of you guys for keeping up too, because I know some of that was pretty fast. So I get like the being behind part. Okay, I know some of that was fast, but y'all did an excellent job of that. Yeah, this was fun. This was a lot of fun.
This was awesome. And this was also born out of our last class because you guys asked for it. So
Yes.
don't be afraid to share and advocate for yourself what you want in this class. We would love your
And
feedback.
sometimes I need some ideas too. So yes, I love hearing your ideas. So anytime you have one, feel free to send one to me.
So please let all the veterans and loved ones of veterans in your life know about the Veterans Art class. That's going to be in about 2-ish weeks. And we'll send you the link. I think Hannah already sent you the link if you signed up, and then we'll
Mhm.
have it in the video description. And if not, we will see you at the next regularly scheduled class
Mhm. Third Thursday of the month.
month.
All right.
Good
Appreciate it.
night. Good night, everybody. Thank you so
Good
much.
night.
Thank
Thanks,
you. Good
y'all.
night.